Today we will be taking a look at the Marantz PMD561 solid-state recorder. This is a device used to record audio from a variety of sources, namely XLR microphones that require phantom power. Audio is captured in up to 24-bit 96 kHz raw wave files for the highest fidelity, or in compressed MP3 format for the longest record time. The files are stored on standard SD cards, which makes for convenient access. So the narration that you're listening to right now is actually being recorded by the Marantz PMD561. I'm using this Apex 435 microphone here, which is a wide diaphragm condenser. It requires phantom power to operate, and the recorder is happy to supply it. And as you can hear, the audio quality is very good. The preamps are low noise, everything sounds great, and significantly better than the preamp that's built into my Canon camera, that's for sure. One feature that this recorder has that's really nice is it has an input pad, so you can attenuate the input by up to minus 18 dB, which you do need for this microphone, which is very hot. But other than that, everything's working great. I'm planning to add a inline attenuator so that I can use the mic with more loud stuff and maybe not have to use the built-in attenuator so much, but otherwise it's working great. And it records at extremely high quality, much better than my desktop computer can, which is a nice upgrade as well. This recorder is powered by either an external power supply or 4 AA batteries. It will accept alkaline or nickel metal hydride, and there is a software UI to switch between them so that the built-in fuel gauge can accurately report how much battery is remaining. My PMD561 was an eBay find and unfortunately did not come with this power supply, but with a couple of rechargeable batteries and a runtime of around 6 to 7 hours, I should be in good hands. While we are looking at the connectors, let's take a look at what else this recorder has to offer. On the same side as the power supply input, we are also provided with an SPDIF digital input, mini USB, and the SD card door. The mini USB can be used to download the audio tracks from the recorder without having to remove the SD card. Along the bottom of the device, or the top if you are using a carrying strap, are 2 combo XLR 1/4-inch connectors for recording up to 2 microphones simultaneously. Along the right side are slide switches for power and key lock. The slide switches make it more difficult to accidentally press them. There is also line out via stereo RCA and line in via 3.5mm connector. The record level is also provided here. One annoyance is that the stereo left and right are nested dials, so it can be difficult to keep them in sync. I only plan to record one channel at a time, so this is not an issue for me, and I will simply use the outer knob. Finally, along the top is the headphones output, remote control input, as well as built-in speaker volume and phantom power switch. It is best to keep phantom power off if you do not plan to use it. It will extend the battery life. While powering on the recorder, we are greeted with a zooming animation of the Marantz logo. It's a bit cheesy, but fun. The front panel has large buttons, the interface is intuitive. I was able to pick it up without the user manual. The menu button provides access to device configuration. Presets are the 3 configured modes of recording. Display provides access to brightness, date format. Time date allows setting the time and date. Utility mostly performs functions relating to the SD card. Language is language, and firmware version shows the current version of the firmware running on the device. I do recommend upgrading to the latest to ensure that you have received all of the bug fixes. There were issues with earlier units relating to file saving, and that's pretty important when you're trying to record audio. I have already set up my presets to record from my Apex 435, my Rode Video Micro, and the line input. Let me change the line input preset to record from the internal microphone of the recorder and give an audio sample of that. First we select the entry, then edit. The first parameter is the input source, so let's change that to internal mic and then save it. So I have the recorder here in front of me, and this is what the internal microphone sounds like. It's not the worst microphone, and it's certainly not the best, but in a pinch I could see this being handy, especially in an interview context where you don't necessarily want to use it for a broadcast, but just to capture the words that are being spoken, for example, in like a dictation type application. So yeah, it's nice that it has it. I don't really need it, but kind of cool to know that it exists. There are also built-in speakers, which can be helpful for listening to what was previously recorded. I suppose you could also load music onto this device and use it as a somewhat clunky MP3 player. The internal speakers leave much to be desired, especially considering how large the device is. They work, but that's pretty much all that needs to be said. There is an absolutely hilarious bug relating to playback. If the current preset for recording is set to 96 kHz, and playback is for a file of lower sample rate, such as 44.1 or 48 kHz, when you pause the record and then resume playback, it will play back at 96 kHz, which is much too fast, of course. So it seems like the output stage is retimed when, hitting the record pause button with the current loaded preset, which blows away the settings from the WAV file that was previously playing back. It's really hilarious. Here's a sample of what that sounds like. So that's the PMD561, a solid-state recorder that uses an SD card for the recording medium, and pretty versatile in terms of inputs and functionality. I'm excited to use this to do some recording in the garage or whatever, on the road maybe. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. This is actually my alt channel, so my main channel's got all kinds of interesting stuff too if you want to check that out. All the links are in the description. With that, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.